It is a storm that defined 2018. Hurricane Florence dropped a record amount of rain across the Carolinas this past September, causing massive flooding and taking the lives of 53 people. You've seen the images, the destruction, the chaos, but what you haven't seen is the amount of incredible work by our own Kentucky National Guard to bring calm after the storm. The men and women you call your friends and neighbors dropped whatever they were doing to go and help. We were there to capture their mission, and as we remember all of our service members around the world this holiday season, we want to honor our men and women right here at home. For the next hour, you will see moment by moment the hard work of our Guardsmen and women and what it truly means to answer the call. Here is Call to Duty, Hurricane Florence.
Florence is headed this way and changing in the process, but one thing that is still the same, the 140-mile-per-hour winds making her a Category 4 hurricane.
The waves and the wind this storm may bring is nothing like you've ever seen. This storm will bring destruction to North Carolina.
As soon as possible. Emergency services may not be able to respond.
We need people to evacuate. They're putting their own lives at risk as well as the lives of first responders.
It's hard to leave, it's hard to stay for different reasons.
Nobody really knows what's going to happen, but we'll be here to see it.
Oh gosh, it's like a bombs have gone off here.
I've never seen this kind of damage here.
Heart beating them 100 miles an hour, but and the creek is up to the house.
That is my room there that I would have been asleep in, so I would have been killed probably.
People all night long have been in attics and roofs asking for help.
I've activated more National Guard soldiers. By this evening, 2,800 will have reported for duty.
The breadth and the depth of this storm is far more expansive than what we can handle. It's far from over.
We are sending 2 5-man teams to forward stage at Oceana Naval Air Station. The guys are prepared probably for about 2 weeks. You could do swift water, confined space, collapsed structure.
Right now, you know, there's still a lot to develop. The storm's still over the coast right now, so I think in the next 12 hours, maybe 20 hours, we're going to figure out exactly where we need to be at, and hopefully we're going to respond there very quickly with whatever capability they need.
We're bringing, some all-terrain vehicles with us and some rafts and some engines for our boats. We're able to move throughout Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina to respond to anything that we may be tasked with.
I really see that probably the floodwaters are our biggest enemy right now that we're going into, so we'll have to, kind of compete with that to get people out, more boat operations and technical rescue. There's not really a fear of life and death for us that I've seen going through the hurricanes last year, but there's definitely dangers out there, and you have to be aware of your surroundings and what you're getting into, especially with the contaminated water.
So we got 60 soldiers going down to Raleigh, North Carolina to provide command and control of aviation assets that come into the area. So that can be North Carolina aviation, that can be other National Guard assets that come in.
And then you just get the call a couple of days ago that this is happening and that they need you, and then you're ready to go.
Absolutely. Part of what we do is we make sure that we're ready to accept the call. We received the same call last year to go help with hurricane relief in Texas and Florida and Virgin Islands. So we all, try to keep on our toes and make sure that we're ready to receive this call and that we're prepared to go out the door and execute our mission at any point in time.
Flash bills are prohibited in checked baggage, but may be hand carried. You may hand carry a camera, but flash attachment of any type, bulbs,
We are on the plane, headed to North Carolina with the Kentucky National Guard. We have about 60 guardsmen with us right now, and we are buckling in and getting ready to take off. See everyone is kind of relaxed on their phones. I got to get my earbuds in and get ready to go, but wanted to give you guys a quick update, and we'll see you when we land. North Carolina with the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade, and you can see it's still raining, very wet.
We called an awful lot of people in. We were just trying to imagine almost the unimaginable, if you would. We are absolutely grateful for having this aviation unit here with us, the 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade. They're proven professionals. They've got a history and a track record, proficient at what they do. And they're actually going to be critical to these next few days as we start commanding and controlling a lot of helicopters and other aviation assets that are going to be crisscrossing our state, doing search and rescue and doing wide area searches. So hats off to other people in Kentucky. Best wishes to you, and thank you so very much. We have 2,800 North Carolina National Guardsmen on duty, representing every one of our brigade commands, if you will, across the state. Then we have another couple hundred active duty Army folks that are providing a lot of trucks and drivers so that we can get into some of these flood-stricken areas. The roads are impassable, so the only way we're going to be able to get there is going to be via air for the next several days. And we know that this flash flooding and everything that's happening because of the rainfall is just the first phase. Because once all that rain collects and gets back into the river and starts heading back to the Atlantic, there's another set of flooding that will go on and persist for at least another week. Hurricane Matthew 2 years ago had historic flooding. Some of the predictions right now are showing that a lot of the rivers that flooded then will rise up to 6 feet taller than it did then.
Wow, that is incredible. 6 feet more in Matthew. It really is in your imagination.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Wow.
This is the initial response, helping everybody to bring some calm out of the chaos that's been caused by the hurricane, and then eventually help them move on into the recovery stage. We're going to get on the Black Hawk and we're going to go look at some of the areas that have been hit hardest by the hurricane, and then hopefully get an opportunity to talk to some of our Army National Guard and Army soldiers. 63rd Theater Aviation Brigade that you're here with out of Kentucky, a tremendous organization. They have been doing domestic response under Army North for quite some time, and so they know how to respond to a domestic emergency, and they were on an airplane and they were here in a heartbeat when North Carolina asked for them. So tell the people of Kentucky thank you for what they do to support their Army National Guard soldiers back home.
We got the notification late Friday afternoon, early evening. We received 60 soldiers from Frankfurt, and we've assumed mission command of all Army aviation rotary wing assets that are responding. So we've got helicopters from 8 states and air crews, and then of course ourselves, and then we're going to go up to about 34 aircraft conducting missions starting tomorrow. So we've got missions going on now, and then we have future missions we start to plan for tomorrow.
The next wave of storms is forecast late afternoon. Captain Stephen Lawson. Good morning, sir. River flooding, draw your attention to this.
So did they load packs, the one that's still here? If you're on the ground in a car and you have bad weather hit, you can just pull over. If you're in a helicopter and you have bad weather hit, if you don't pull over in time, you die. You just die. So what we've got up there on the screen is National Weather Service feed. Those pink spots are really bad weather, and we're watching the radar to see where it's going to move, if we're going to get some relief from this. I fly too, and without a flight operations facility, I'd be lost on my own. I wouldn't have anybody to fuel an aircraft. I wouldn't have anybody to fix an aircraft. Nowhere to sleep at night, nothing to eat. So we provide those things for people.
This wave of storms is forecast late afternoon.
They really do need somebody sitting behind this computer that is a pilot that knows I'm not going to send my friends and my people that I maybe went to flight school with into a bad condition. You know how to read that map and you know what to expect. Right now you have a lot of flooding in North Carolina. So there are little islands in North Carolina right now. There's no road access to them. So we're basically doing an air bridge in North Carolina right now. So we find out, hey, these people don't have water, they don't have food, they don't have medical supplies. We're putting those supplies where they need to be and letting North Carolina handle the search and rescue.
They're the heavy ones.
Out of higher control like this, it's complete chaos and everybody's on their own. So we bring the picture together to get help where it needs to be and to make sure that it happens in an expeditious manner.
The National Guard pretty much brought you to Kentucky.
Correct.
But North Carolina is your home.
Absolutely. I've always had very thick ties in terms of my family to the Carolinas. I'm also a huge Carolina Panthers fan. We lost yesterday, but yes, I love the Carolinas. I love Wilson, North Carolina. That's my home. I was just here, not even 2 weeks ago for Labor Day. My family has their annual family reunion there. Wilson, North Carolina, fresh fish right there. So good, so delicious. Turkey barbecue, which is my favorite. They actually gave me a whole pan of that at their family reunion. I was so happy. Homemade hush puppies, just like everybody's favorite. I have so much family in the Carolinas, so my immediate emotion was concern. Was like, how will my family be impacted? Will they be okay? My family has that unique ability right now through Facebook to mark themselves as safe. So I had a lot of family members who are safe because they did leave and evacuate. And so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, so it was shocking to know that I was here 2 weeks ago and everything looked fine, and then I come back and everything's not fine. And we have our major interstate getting ready to be flooded and shut down, and people evacuated, and almost 500,000 people without power. I want to say it goes from New York to Florida, is up and down that entire east coast of the Atlantic Ocean is I-95. So for it to be shut off in the Carolinas is a big deal. It's always personal in my mind for anybody in the military to be able to serve and answer the call. But it's especially personal for me to know that I'm helping not just citizens, but family members.
Tell us where we are right here.
Okay, so right now we are in what is called the drill hall floor. We're in Mooresville Armory. This is where we're housing hundreds of soldiers. This is where they sleep, where they're resting. We have night and day shifts for operations. We have over 300 soldiers from all over the country: Oklahoma, Maryland, Kentucky, Wisconsin. We have soldiers from all over the country spread all out the armory, just trying to find a place to lay their head.
And I love that a lot of people, they bring the pillows,
they
got the blankets, they're prepared.
Listen, people know conditions aren't always favorable, and so you never know if you're gonna have a hot meal or a bed or a pillow, and so it's good to just kind of have as much personal stuff as you can bring within limitation, obviously, so that you can be as comfortable as possible. Some of our most important resources is water and our meal ready to eat, MREs as we call them. This is what we usually eat for lunch, and I make sure soldiers get 2 hot meals a day. So breakfast and dinner will be our hot meals, and then lunch, soldiers grab these in the morning if they're gonna be flying all day, so they don't have to worry about not getting a meal on their lunch hour. It's important because soldiers don't do their mission without this stuff. This is what we call sustainment operations. How do we sustain the troops? We gotta feed them, we gotta house them, we gotta make sure they are clean and can shower and have all those resources that they need to be effective. We don't wanna see people suffering. It's so much devastation going on in the world. These hurricanes, they tear up communities. They tear up neighborhoods. Kids aren't able to go to school and learn. People can't go to work. People are stranded in their homes. People are losing everything that they've worked for. So to just be able to be a blessing and be a beacon of light in a very dark place is the greatest gift. We know that all of this is bigger than us. We know that this mission and these people in need are bigger than us. We can provide some resources. We can help. And so that's why we're here, because we know we can do this. We know we can help. As a Carolinian, I am eternally grateful for that. So I want to be clear that there is help on the way for those who feel like that no one's paying attention, or no one's listening, or no one's there. We're here, and we're here to help.
We're the Swiftwater Rescue Team at Greensboro Fire Department. We're en route to Pender County to support our other Swiftwater Rescue Team that's already on the ground there working. And we're going to jump right into the game so they can catch up on some sleep. We're bringing some boats, some MREs, water, and some other supplies. It's hectic, tiring, and fast-paced.
The Minnesota National Guard sent us down, packing on as much cargo as we can, ferrying it to places that need it.
Chinook is a very capable aircraft. We can haul those bigger loads and get the boats places. We can sling load. 2 hours of flight under night vision goggle, you kind of got to look a little bit more, especially with how dense the airspace is right now.
If you're on the ground in a car and you have bad weather hit, you can just pull over. If you're in a helicopter and you have bad weather hit, if you don't pull over in time, you die. You just die.
Drop them off just in town there and just by the baseball fields, unloaded all the gear, and then get out of there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop.
It's the flooding and the recovery that is of particular concern. As the Chief of Staff of the Army and the total Army, we got the Army Reserve Guard and regular Army all committed, and we want to express our condolences to the families of the 17 folks who were tragically lost in this hurricane. But the state of North Carolina and the governor and his entire emergency response team, FEMA from the federal level, the National Guard is all piled in. There's about 13,000 Army soldiers involved in this thing in one way or another. They bring in relief supplies, commodity distribution, debris removal, rescuing people. I think we're up to 389 folks that National Guard and Army Reserve and regular Army has rescued. Coast Guard's fully committed all along the coast. So it's a team effort from the U.S. military writ large. Things are progressing. There's a lot of work to do. They're not out of the woods yet, but things are progressing and going well so far. We got the Corps of Engineers out doing assessments. Most of the damage that we saw today, that we visited a good part of the state in the affected area, most of the damage is from flood, from water, as was predicted. Wind damage, there is some wind damage. There are trees down, but the vast majority of it's through flooding. So there's lots of dams in the area, lots of rivers, lots of waterways. Army Corps of Engineers are out there conducting assessments along with civil authorities. The Coast Guard is doing a fantastic job down along the coast. They've done many, many rescues as well. So it's a big team effort from the federal government, from the state government, from the local government.
On Thursday, we got the call, and they had us repositioned down to Knoxville, Tennessee for a couple of days, along with aircraft from other states, essentially any state that wasn't a neighbor to North Carolina. staged out of Knoxville, and then continued on to Raleigh as soon as they could get enough weather, or good enough weather, to get here. Charlie Company 2 of the 238th GSAB out of Gary, Indiana. Out of that, we brought 14 folks with us of various mission sets: pilots, crew chiefs, medics, maintainers. We've got a good team here that's covering a variety of missions. As a matter of fact, we have an aircraft out right now doing search and rescue operations. So we've been doing medical resupply, food, water, and then these search and rescue missions as well.
Why did you want to be a medic?
So actually my brother deployed in around 2010, came home telling stories about how his medic was able to help a lot of people over there, help save lives, and I knew I enjoyed the medical field, and I knew I wanted to be able to help people out if they were ever in danger, so that's what I do, and I'm a paramedic full-time civilian side, so I enjoy being able to serve and being able to help people. I've been a paramedic for 2 years.
Whenever you're on a mission, what is your role, I guess?
So my role when we get on scene is to triage patients and figure out which ones we need to take first, and then once we get them in the back of the aircraft, me and a crew chief go to work and try to make sure that we're keeping the patient comfortable and making sure that they're going to make it to our next destination. So some of the equipment that I have laid out here used especially for times like this. This is our rescue strap. So this is used from the hoist when we go down the cable. This is something that we can use to get somebody out of a tight situation, if they're in water or in a tree or something like that. We can put this around them to secure them to be able to get them up the hoist and safely into the aircraft. Another opportunity is this rescue seat. These legs fold down and you sit facing inwards, and then these straps here come out and wrap around you to secure you to the rescue seat to be able to pull you off at the top of a roof or something along those lines.
Wow. Of course, the basket. We always see the basket.
Yeah, so you always see the basket. This is a rescue basket primarily used to get people out of water because it's a flotation device as well, and that's going to be used a lot when people are in water.
So, as you said, you're a paramedic in an ambulance. How different is it being a paramedic in an ambulance versus being a paramedic in a Black Hawk helicopter?
Well, major difference is not being able to talk to your patient. As we have them flying around right now, it's very loud and it's very difficult to communicate with patients. We rely on our sense in an ambulance and our senses to be able to communicate and be able to listen to a patient. In the back of an aircraft, I can't. I can't listen to lung sounds or talk to the patient, really. I have to holler at them, and if they can't talk back, then I have to be able to use my hands and try to figure out what's wrong with them without being able to rely on those senses. Everything's vibrating, so everything's loud. You can't really hear anything, so the difficulty level is significantly higher. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot. It's funny because I was scared of heights as a kid, but this is something that I absolutely enjoy. Now I'm on the end of a string, and I'm relying on the pilots and my crew chief to make sure that I make it down safe. And the nice thing is that I trust all the men I work with. So, it's definitely a huge trust to have with your crew, and I'm just happy to be here with the guys that I am.
So, as a crew chief, my job, first of all, I maintain the aircraft, and secondly, I assist the pilots when we're flying, monitoring fuel, monitoring our airspace, and then once we get to a patient, I assist the medics. I lower them down on the hoist if need be. I'm an extra set of hands for the medics. This is my first stateside mission. I have deployed once overseas, but yeah, this is my first stateside mission, so it's very exciting. But it's a double-edged sword, because for us to go do this, people are in danger. But hopefully we can do our job and get them safe and get them to the treatment they need.
You've been doing this for 10 years, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
What made you get in the Guard?
Well, my father was a Vietnam vet. He was a Marine, and I tried to enlist out of high school. I was going to go active duty. They wouldn't allow me because I was too skinny. And I go to church with a now retired Sergeant Major out of the National Guard, and we always talked, and finally he talked to my wife. We discussed it, and at the age of 36 years old, I joined the National Guard.
Wow. Is that old?
There was a 41-year-old with me in basic.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we were the oldest in basic training.
So most guys do this, you know, young
At
guys?
18, yes, ma'am. 17, 18 years old.
So what made you decide then?
I just always wanted to serve my country, and just wanted to give it another shot, and this time I made it. It's very rewarding to me and all these people here.
Yeah, it's. It sounds like, just talking to you, this feels more like a calling for you than it does a career.
I think so. I really do.
How long do you think you'll keep doing this?
As long as they'll let me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
We have the Force Com 2-star general from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So he's pretty much the head of that base that was here to talk with the other commands about how the operation has gone in North Carolina. To get our higher counterparts coming here to give us kudos, to give us our, you know, our due in this operation, it's humbling.
He was asking us what we were doing, what our roles were within the task force, and what we did while we were at home prior to coming. I'm the brigade PSNCO. I deal with all things personnel, counting them, tracking them, ensuring that everyone has all the information that they need, and we send that up to the task force commander. I've always had a desire and a passion to serve, and in whatever capacity you can do that, I think you should find something that you love to do. Zero shame about it. I have a true passion for taking care of soldiers. And as an AGR, an active Guard Reserve member, you are full-time active duty, assigned to the National Guard, and you work to take care of your traditional M-Day soldiers. And the only reason any of us have a job is to take care of those soldiers. Those are things that are important to me because I know what it feels like to not always feel taken care of as a service member, and I don't ever want anyone to feel that way that I'm entrusted, you know, with their care. I'm very passionate about that, in case you can't tell.
Yes,
Sorry.
I love it. No, I love it.
I had my first child at 16, and everyone said, you're not going to go into the military, because I'd always wanted to. I come from a big military family. You're never going to do it. You're never going to do it. And I said, okay, watch me. So I was already married with 2 children when I went active duty, and have since had 2 more children, and then given my daughter to the organization. So if that's just a testament to how much respect I have for the Kentucky Army National Guard. I almost get choked up, but the Kentucky Guard has given me more than I ever could have asked for, so much so that I gave my daughter to this organization at 17. She has since gone on to active duty herself.
I do promote her to corporal in the United States Army.
She's a hard worker just like her mama. She's much tougher at this age than I was at this age, so I like to think I had a little bit of something to do with that, and she knows there's no crying in the Army. You call mommy and cry when you need to. When lights are out, no one's around.
Unfailing trust in superiors and loyalty to your peers will significantly
She actually just made corporal, and she's stationed in Korea. And I got a video of her. I told you there was no crying in the Army, but we're talking about my daughter now. The pride I felt, you know, having been a mother at 16 and being told you're never going to do what you wanted to do. And I always taught her, I said, dare someone to tell you you can't do it, and then do it. Let that drive you. Don't get mad, get motivated. And when I saw her swear in and I saw her graduate from basic training, it was a sense of pride that I never felt before. I'm over the moon about my girl.
Sergeant Washington, she arranged all of those C-17s and doing all those things to get all that stuff to happen, and you're saving people's lives and you're doing the things that we have to do for each other. And so I want to congratulate you on that. And so for me, Sergeant, I want to say thanks to you. I want to give you one of my coins, and you are what makes us special.
Very nerve-wracking a little bit because you meet some of the highest ranking officials in the military, in the Army, in the Army National Guard.
How you doing? Pretty good, sir. Good to see you.
He handed you that coin.
He handed me a coin.
What was that?
And that's that's almost like a rite of passage in the military. When you get a coin from a high-ranking official, you've done something amazing, something spectacular. And so he was recognizing me for kind of just ensuring successful movement of all personnel and equipment on this mission, getting us here within a 48-hour window, getting us up and running within 36 hours once we got here. And you know, obviously I got to coordinate movement back home, but in the midst of that, getting people fed every day while we're here, getting them, you know, beds to sleep in, and you know, showers, and just everything in terms of logistics and transportation, just that entire effort, just from my team, but you know, just the entire organization coming together to make sure everyone is working together. Tomorrow, my family will be collaborating with the local USO, who has been outstanding to us, providing us meals during lunch, because we don't get a hot meal for lunch, but we do get hot breakfast and dinner. And so the USO has been preparing meals for us a few days out of the week. And so tomorrow, my family will be here to provide us a hot meal with the USO, and they're going to cook ham, fried chicken, barbecue chicken, macaroni and cheese, green beans, homemade hush puppies. That is my favorite, my homemade hush puppies. And we'll have some lemon cake and some other things, but I cannot wait. That is going to be the meal of a lifetime.
Far from over. But the breadth and the depth of this storm is far more expansive than what we could handle. For us, we got a vested interest in the outcome. Again, these are the places that we work, the places that we live, the places that we worship. This is where our families live, this is where our friends, all of our loved ones. You know, this is us. For all the other folks come here, this is America. This is a fellow state. These are American lives on the line. So they stopped what they were doing too, and they're here. Thanks, man. Where are you from?
Thank you, sir. Kentucky, sir.
Kentucky. All right. We had the right people here. Thank goodness. Second time in 2 years that we're having 500-year floods. All right. So I think we need to recalibrate, right? So this is either a 2-year event, or we should all be good to go for another 998 years, right? Either way you look at it, well, only time will tell. Interesting times. I cannot tell you just how extremely proud and grateful I am. Wherever you're from, North Carolina, Kentucky, any other state, anybody else is here, whatever installation, take it back and tell them we're grateful for the selfless service of each and every one of you.
I went home. The plane showed up about 3:30. We all got on the plane. The general that was over the entire task force met us there, the 2-star general, and gave us a good welcome, goodbye. You know.
We got diverted to Knoxville, and half of the plane thought we were in Lexington. People were calling their wife, "Yeah, we just landed in Lexington. Everything's great." And then everyone gets off the plane. It's like, there's mountains around.
Wait a second.
And it's beautiful out, and it's supposed to be raining in Lexington. What's going on? We're in Knoxville.
Oh,
now we got a plan B. We were doing a football audible. The leadership had to figure out what that audible was going to be, and it turned out to be 8 vans that we rented to drive up here like speed racers.
Oh,
so
my
here we are.
gosh. My goodness. How's it feel to be home finally?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Still not technically
home. Tomorrow is our wedding anniversary.
Wow. So you get to be in before that?
Yes.
Were you worried about that?
To an extent, I was, yes. You know, I was like texting her, and I was telling everybody in my shop, I was like, I hope I'm back by the 21st, you know, so that way I'm there by the 22nd. Otherwise, you know, wife's gonna be a little bit upset. So, but luckily, you know, she understood me being away.
How are you gonna celebrate your anniversary?
We don't know yet. Probably take an extra day off and sleep in with the kids and just hang out as a family.
How does it feel to be back home?
Oh, it's great. You know, I can smell some mash cooking down over the hill here, so I know I'm in Kentucky. Going back to see my kids, I do things and I hope that they're proud of what I do. They're not going to tell me that, but Madeline, Isabella, and Dane, they certainly support me. And my wife, Kimbra, what a trooper. She's running kids around they all have cross-country meets and different things at school, and Dad's gone again, so she steps up and does everything herself. So, without the families, the employers, and of course the support of all of our soldiers here, not only the ones that deployed with us, but the ones back here that make things happen logistically, you can't say enough.
One thing I didn't know when I interviewed you the first time, but was that you had a honeymoon trip planned, right? To Italy or France or something?
Yeah.
And you and your wife were sent to Florence.
That's correct. Yeah.
How often has that happened in your career in the National Guard, where you have something that you are planning to go do, and then boom, you get the call, and whoop, you gotta go?
I mean, you always have a basic plan for how you think your day's going to go, and then unexpected things happen. I mean, it's hurricane season. We went last year, so it wasn't all that surprised that, we got called to go again this year. Deployments happen. My wife went to an instructor pilot course last year. I fell on a shortfall course this year, and I was gone for 6 weeks. So we have all these random periods of time almost that we just we work it, and we make it happen somehow.
That's what we do. That's what we train for. We train for that year round, and it's really great to get out and test your grit, and then when you see it all come together, it's really powerful. I'm really proud of all my soldiers. They all did a really great job, and it made me very proud of them. We hit the ground running, and we didn't slow down until we just got back here. So we're home, got everybody home safely, went and did our job, and feels really good.
In all, more than 8,000 National Guard soldiers across the country were called in to help the Carolinas before, during, and after Hurricane Florence. Together, they rescued nearly 500 people, more than 100 animals, and moved more than 500,000 pounds of supplies and equipment. Over this last hour, you've seen for yourself their sacrifices, their willingness to put the needs of complete strangers above their own. That's what it means to answer the call. That's what it means to truly serve. We want to thank the Kentucky National Guard for all they do for our state and beyond. And for all of our service members around the world, thank you. We wish you all a wonderful holiday season.